Mike Gesicki last year, 65 receptions, 83 targets, 665 yards through the air, and 2 touchdowns. Thoughts on Mike Gesicki?
I think Gesicki sees um, some more touchdowns this year. I think two is a pretty low number for him being in a pass happy offense and him being a really good receiving tight end. Um, he's just been a little bit undervalued. So I like him in there in Cincinnati. Again, second tight end option. I don't mind him for best ball being a second or third option again, just because you're gonna see 1 or 2 weeks where he does crack the top 10 and kind of jump off the page there. There's just a lot going on in Cincinnati. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Chase Brown, all these guys are going to see a good amount, obviously. And then they brought back P. Ryan, which is interesting enough, only because I think it's just another mouth that they're going to script touches to. So I think the upside's there because you want to have pieces of high profile offenses, and much like K. Dotton in Tampa Bay, Cincinnati absolutely has one as well. So almost kind of mirror images of each other, even though Gesicki is a better natural receiver of the football.
I agree with that. That they're almost mirror images because it's kind of how I'm looking at them. I think Mike Gesicki is the third pass catching unless something drastically changes in the next 6 weeks. Mike Gesicki is the third pass catching option on that team, right? But that is two other large mouths you have to feed when it comes to throwing the football, and then of course you've got all the running backs that they're going to do. Zach Moss also back there in the backfield for Cincinnati right now. So if we see a T. Higgins injury or a Jamar Chase injury, then I think his value skyrockets. If we don't, then I think he's a tough play week in and week out.
Yeah, this is a guy that I would put on my roster as a potential streamer. Not necessarily a guy that I would look to add as my late round tight end dart throw. Hope to strike gold on this one. And you guys mentioned both Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, who are going to drastically outproduce Gesicki when it comes to targets and all of that, right? Because when both of those guys were on the field, typically, Gesicki saw less than about 5 targets a game, which dramatically impacts the value that he's able to produce for you in fantasy, right? Now, if one of those guys should happen to miss some time, like that's where I would look to try and add him to my roster and try to make some things there because, right, with them both in the lineup last year, we saw him only, not even at 5 targets. When T. Higgins missed some time last season, we saw Gesicki over 5 catches per game on that one. So there's certainly some value there, but this is another guy that with both of those guys and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins being healthy, I do think that Mike Gesicki becomes kind of the odd man out and the forgotten guy when it comes to this passing attack.